One Friday evening, Sally Scrivens and her family had just finished a huge meal and were sitting in the living room, rubbing their bellies and having a good old chat. The Scrivens family consisted of Mr. Scrivens, Mrs. Scrivens, Sally's older brother Tom, Sally's older brother's girlfriend Alice, Sally's younger sister Shelley, Daisy the Staffordshire Bull Terrier, and Sally. Mr. Scrivens had just finished telling what he considered to be one of his best dad jokes of all time, and what Sally considered to be one of his worst. Everybody was in stitches, but Sally. "On that note, I'm going to the toilet," she muttered. "Oh," said Mrs. Scrivens. "In that case, Poppet, would you be so kind as to make the first round of drinks? Tea? Coffee, everybody?" There was a deafening chorus of approval, as you would expect in an English household when somebody suggests a round of tea and coffee after a big meal. "Sure, why not?" said Sally. "Don't be too long though," said Tom. "Got something big to share with you all." There were oohs and ahs as Sally made her way to the kitchen to fulfill her duty. Now, Sally was your average 16-year-old girl, but she had by no means an average imagination. In fact, Sally's imagination was so vivid that sometimes what Sally saw and heard seemed to her to be undoubtedly true. The incredibly vivid occurrences that Sally witnessed daily were not confined merely to those moments during which she was lying in bed, but were much more frequent. That is why when Sally entered the kitchen and the door to the cupboard above the sink burst open, giving way to the jar of coffee that was now leaping down onto the countertop joyfully, Sally didn't bat an eyelid. "Did somebody say coffee?" the jar exclaimed. "I think it's Dad and Alice that wanted coffee." "Yeah, that's right," Sally said. "Oh, nothing wakes you up like a cup of coffee," Coffee cried. "I'm not talking about that awful instant stuff. Oh no, I'm talking about real coffee. Picture this. You wake up on a drizzly, cold Monday morning and groan. You heave yourself out of bed after 10 minutes of deliberating. Is your job worth it? You'll soon find out. You head to the kitchen, put the kettle on, open a packet of real, fresh coffee, and the smell of roasted beans just hits you. Fewer things are better than the smell of roasted beans, let me tell you that. You scoop out the rich, brown, real... I'm pretty sure I know how to make it, thanks," Sally replied. "The first few heavenly sips are the best," Coffee went on dreamily. "Before those first few sips, the world was a dark place. Everything seemed impossible. Now, everything is possible. Of course your job is worth it, and today you're going to smash it. Now you can say good morning to the rest of your household without wanting to punch everybody in the face. Oh, the possibilities are endless with a cup of coffee." Talk about false ideology. Coffee spun around, enraged. It was tea. Tea had emerged from the cupboard above the sink and was now looking at Coffee with an air of contempt. Sally looked back and forth between the two of them. The air was thick with tension. "Who asked for your opinion?" Coffee snarled. "Well, it's hard to stay quiet when you're listening to an awful lot of rubbish. Sally, don't listen to Coffee. It hasn't got a clue." "How very dare you!" "It's true. Coffee this and coffee that. Face the facts. Nobody likes you and you know it." "What a load of codswallop." "Nobody likes you. They merely pretend to like you. I can't believe you've turned a blind eye to the fact that everybody has to go through such an ordeal just to put up with you. What on earth are you talking about, T? All this faffing about with machines and filters and whatnot, it's so unnecessary. They add milk, and they add froth, and they add syrups and sugar, and all sorts of other silly little things. And the funniest part is that after all this dressing up, they don't even have the decency to call you by your real name. Latte, cappuccino, macchiato, mocha. Now you listen to me, T. Espresso, flat white. Stop it! Americano, frappuccino. I said stop it! Yelled Coffee, bounding across the counter so that it was face to face with Tea. It then turned to Sally, who was by now feeling incredibly awkward. Sally, my dear Sally, don't listen to a word T says. It's all lies, it's all lies. T has merely been brainwashed by all those fake coffee drinkers, and believe me, there are plenty of them. Oh, you can bet your bottom dollar that it makes me absolutely furious when people dress up their coffees. Skinny pumpkin spice latte, my bottom. These fake coffee drinkers know nothing about the real coffee. Real coffee makes T here look like a sissy. Look how angry coffee is. You don't need that kind of negativity in your life, Sally. Sally wanted to interject, but the argument was becoming even more heated. I'm not angry, I'm passionate, Coffee exclaimed. Ha! Don't make me laugh, Coffee. Stripped bare, you are nothing but a joke. Granted, there are true coffee drinkers, but they are sad, sad people. And you've got some nerve, Coffee, to do what you do. Sally, my dear Sally, tea is what makes everything okay. Tea will never let you down. Once Coffee's job is done, it will leave you. Tea will never leave you. People rely on me, Tea, said Coffee, standing tall and putting on a brave face because Tea's words were very much getting to it. I have a sense of purpose. You, on the other hand, serve no purpose. You make people believe they can do things. You're a trickster, a manipulative, sludge-coloured trickster. You give them false hope. They can only go so many hours without you because they think they need you. What a vicious cycle. How vicious you are. Sally was considering going back to the living room with the news that there was no tea or coffee left in the house. You provide temporary relief, Coffee countered. At least I am true to my word. I tell it like it is, and there's nothing sinister about me. No, you are weak, Tea. You are all talk and no action. I pity you. If you two don't mind, Sally said, jumping at the chance to intervene, I really need to start on these drinks. Everybody will be wondering where I've got to. Boil the kettle, Sally. That gives us enough time to sort out our differences, Coffee growled, cracking its knuckles. Well, it had no knuckles, but if it could, that's what it would be doing. I really think put the kettle on, said T in such a menacing voice that Sally was lost for words, and so she stumbled over to the kettle. Coffee and Tea stood facing each other, as if ready to wrestle. Which one's it to be, Sally? Said Tea. A blissful beverage to soothe the soul? Or this lying liquid that stands before me, the originator of all false promises? Look at that bitter expression. Oh wait, you are bitter. You know full well that you're just as guilty of providing false promises, a blissful beverage to soothe the soul. You promised them some sort of relief, but what kind of relief exactly? Oh, so you're admitting that you are guilty? Well, so what if I do have caffeine? At least I can admit to it. I'm sorry, what's that supposed to mean? Maybe it's true that I'm not exactly what everybody needs, Coffee said, its hard expression softening. It looked down at the countertop. I'd never purposely lead someone on, but at least I'm doing my best to make them happy. Like I said before, there are many things within the coffee industry that I don't agree with, but at least I can stand here and say that despite everything, I'm not ashamed. Coffee beamed. Sally, who had been gathering mugs together, also beamed. Tea spun around, and when it saw Sally's reaction, turned furiously to face Coffee once again. Well, it faltered. Tea, I'd say it's a little bit hypocritical of you to point the finger at Coffee when you also have caffeine. But no, that's not nearly as much, Tea spluttered. Not that different after all, are you? Sally said. We are! Both of them shouted. There was a slight pause. Then everybody fell about giggling. Honestly, what are you like? Sally said, taking coffee in one hand and tea in the other. No matter what, people still drink tea and people still drink coffee. And right now, there are people waiting for tea and coffee, so we'd better hurry up. Sally! At that moment, Mrs. Scrivens came hurrying into the kitchen. Sally greeted her with a sheepish smile. Sorry, Mum, I got a bit distracted. I'll be out with the drinks in 2 ticks, she said. Oh, not to worry, but you missed the announcement, Poppet. Tom and Alice are engaged. I'll put the tea and coffee away and I'll get the Prosecco out. Mrs. Scrivens squealed like a little girl, but amid the squealing there were gasps that seemed to have come from the countertop, where the box of tea and jar of coffee were now lying pathetically. Sally forgot all about what had happened and joined in squealing with her mum. They hugged, and then Sally dashed into the living room. Mrs. Scrivens opened the fridge and out came a huge, sparkling bottle of Prosecco, like nothing tea or coffee had ever seen before. "Now, where's that bottle opener?" Mrs. Scrivens muttered to herself, and she set about trying to find the item in question. Tea and coffee stared at Prosecco. "Evening," Prosecco said, its voice crisp and smooth. "Hi," said Coffee. "What are you doing out of the cupboard above the sink?" "It's not really the moment for a tea or coffee, I'm afraid. They're celebrating, you know. This is my time to shine." "What other drink springs to mind when you're getting ready for a celebration?" They want a glass of something bubbly, a glass of something that's going to make them feel good. Not a hot drink. Sally's mum had retrieved the bottle opener. She moved over to the counter and picked up Prosecco. "Anyway, have a nice evening." With that, it was gone. There was silence for some time. "You know," said T, "I will admit that caffeine is, in some respect, dangerous. But alcohol, now that's just..."